Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Coda Country Chats. I'm Lee, and if you have never tuned into a Chats Pod episode before, I think you picked a good one as your first starter episode. On the pod with me today, I have Hayden Coffman. How are you today,
There.
Hayden?
Great. Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well. It's great to hear from you. And
Cool.
you have a lot of stuff like in the works. I'm excited to talk about all the things that you have
Yes,
going
very
on for
busy.
you.
Very
Very
busy.
busy, very busy. So let's kick it off. I do want to talk about one of your most recent singles that you released. That's also the title track to your upcoming album, Love and a Heartbreak. Let's talk
Yeah.
a little bit about that song. Tell me a little bit about the writing process and how that song came to be.
Yeah. I've just picked that to be the title track just because I felt like it was kind of a good, representation of the entire album because it's very toxic, right? The whole record is very like, I want to be together. I don't want to be together. Break up. Exactly.
Yeah.
Get back together. All that good stuff. We've all been there. But yeah, I wrote that probably 2 years ago now, I guess, with a couple buddies. And, I just felt like it was kind of the best track per se, or, whatever you want to call it, to be the title of the album. So that's kind of why I picked that one.
I'm glad that you said that because in listening to this song and then also Don't Come with the Label, I was like, there's a theme. There is
Yeah,
a theme here.
there is.
Something's happening.
Yes.
So I'm hoping
Toxic. Toxic.
just label it toxic.
That's
Well,
right.
and then that was kind of one of my questions as I was listening to some of these songs. I was like, okay, so I'm hoping that all of this like isn't completely personal, but maybe it
Right.
probably is somewhat, right? A little bit
Yeah,
of factual
of
stuff for
course. I
you.
mean, at one point it was right, not anymore. I'm actually engaged this fall. I'm getting married, so no worries on any of that stuff.
Yay!
But
Good.
but I will say I've been there before, and I have been in relationships where it's back and forth. I think they call it situationships now. So one of those deals, and that's kind of like how the record came about. Is I guess me and a lot of my buddies and co-writers have all been there before, so we were just kind of writing songs like that,
Yeah.
and kind of all worked out to be on the same album. So yeah.
That's exactly why I asked you because one of my notes is I was like taking things down and I was like, this is about a situationship. So
Right.
I am so glad that we're on the same page here. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, let's talk about Don't Come with the Label because that just came out in February. So back to
Yeah.
back heaters that you've absolutely been
Oh,
dropping. I love that for
thank
you.
you.
Don't Come with the Label. That's the one that I wrote down situationship for.
Yeah, very much
So
so.
when you get into the writer's room or you went in the writer's room, did you bring this idea or was this one that was brought to you? How did that work out?
Yeah, so it was actually brought to me by my one of my co-writers, Autumn Bussey, and she brought it in there, and I loved the idea, and I kind of felt like it was, I guess, like perfect for February, fall still vibes. I guess not fall, but
Yes.
cold still, good for bonfires. It's got that like just, slow groove and trap beat or whatever stuff like
Yeah.
it's cool. And I don't know if you've watched the music video or not, but it's very just this couple kind of just seeing each other, but not,
Hmm.
and drinking moonshine in the back of a truck, just chilling, like
Right.
you said, it's a situationship where it's like, what are we? It's fun, but what is this? So I don't know. It's just chill song, I guess, very chill, and that was a good first single, I guess, off the record.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay. In knowing that, I do want to ask. There was one song as I was like looking through your track list.
Yeah.
That has one writer on it, Ethan Askew.
Yes.
Only
My
smoke
boy.
when I drink. Yeah, tell
Yeah.
me. Was that a song that he brought to you, or is that something that you like heard and you're like, I want to
Yes.
cut this?
Yes, yeah. Actually, he just literally wrote this song and sent it to me the day he wrote it. Like, just in his living room acoustic, just playing around with it. Sent it to me. Was like, "Hey, man, I don't know if you like this or not, but I feel like it's like right up your alley." I'm like, yeah, I love it." So I heard that and I put it out last year,
Yeah.
and already dropped it. But I love this song, and it seemed like a lot of people really liked it. So I feel like it fit the record, and that's why I included it on the album.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are like, I would say I try to do this thing when I talk about album releases where I do like a top three for me. Okay. And
Yeah.
those are my top three right now. If
Nice.
you were to pick a top three, what would your top three be from the album?
Nice. Good question. Let me think here for a second. Um, well, I'm gonna go for three of them. I'm gonna do one that's out and two they're not out.
Ooh, I
So
love it.
one, I think, let's see, I dropped it back in December. It's called If You Know What You Know. Just dropped that
Yes.
a few months ago. Love that one.
Yeah.
Just playing live. It's very rock and very different for me. And then, another one I'm about to drop. It's first song on the album. It's called Fighting Words.
Mhm.
Once again, very toxic. I've been teasing it recently. I really like it. Yeah, it's my fiance's favorite song on the record too, so I really dig that. And then another one,
Yeah.
totally just way left field, way different. It's called "Woke Up Drunk," and it's very rowdy party song, very different
Yeah.
from the rest of the album, actually. Especially with like kind of like a western slash just party pop sound it's got. So I guess it's my top three right there.
Hang on one second.
Okay.
Sorry, I can cut this out. That's my little girl. She's just coming and
Oh,
grabbing
no.
something.
I
Anyway, okay. All right. So I'm really glad that you told me about your top three. Because Fighting Words is one of those that I was like, when you're like reading down a
Right.
track list and you're like, there's a title. That's a song I want to hear.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you listed that because like in the little snippet that I've heard of it, I was like,
Yeah.
oh dang, this is really good.
Nice. Thank you. Appreciate that. Actually, funny enough, I know you mentioned Don't Come With the Label earlier, and actually the same girl that brought that idea brought in Fight Words. So shout out to Autumn on that one. She's great and a good friend of mine too. So
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
yeah,
so glad. It's so nice that you have like a group of people that just bring
sure.
you the good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
man,
is,
she's lucky out here. Lucky.
that's amazing. Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is there a song on the album that start to finish was super easy? Like the write just came together, the recording didn't take very long. Do you have a song like that on this album?
Good question here. Hey, that's why we're doing podcast, right? Good at this. Let's see. It's man, I mean, one of the ones by words is like we wrote it and I recorded it like a month later. So very fast and very easy to go. So I guess by words is one of them. But I mean, most of the whole album was honestly very easy to write and to put out because usually your best ones are that way and you're not overthinking it. So yeah, but that's just one that sticks out to me, I guess, when it comes to being easy.
Yeah. Well, okay, then let me flip it. And then knowing what you just said may like contradict this question.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the
is
heart.
there yeah, is there a song that's been like a labor of love? Like it just like wasn't working for a while or the recording like just didn't happen when it was supposed to. You know what I mean? Like I'd love to know that story
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I'm trying to think there on the whole album. Um, maybe a delayed one was for one I wrote called "Another Girl, Another Bar."
Hmm.
But the writing was easy, honestly. The guys I wrote it with are really talented, great guys. But just it's kind of one of the last songs we chose to be on the album, I guess, is why I say hardest. But still not a hard deal or anything there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love hearing those stories just because it's like sometimes you sit down and you write a song and it takes like 15 minutes and it's done.
Right.
But then you have those that like you have to step away from for a little bit just to
Yeah,
like
like 2 years.
get out of it.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah, 1 year
exactly.
later.
Exactly. Okay, I did want to bring this up too because this is your second album, right? So you
Yeah,
released an album back in 2020.
yeah,
Um,
very early
tell
on.
me about like how that 2020 album gave you almost like a step stool to start this album and like kind of how did that build a foundation for you to set up this album to be as great as it is?
Yeah, well, appreciate that, and I wish I had
Oh
you
yeah.
know, a better answer for you. But to be honest with you, when I dropped that first one, I was still just kind of figuring it all out, and I'm still am just trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
But like since then, I've just had a lot of success, luckily, on the internet through TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, all
Yeah.
that good stuff on social media. But I mean, I guess like really more so of like my team pushing me to do an album instead of just doing a bunch of singles like I've been doing the past couple of years, or like I even dropped a random EP here and there. But yeah, it's just I don't know, not really a rhyme or reason, but it was good to get the first project out to where now it's like, hey, then one one we're about to drop, April 18th is a whole nother level, than 2020, right? We're just
Yeah.
kind of figuring it out, but yeah, I guess that's kind of the answer there. Kind of an answer, I don't know.
No. What? And I'm glad you said that because I feel like 2020 5 years
Yeah,
ago has like really molded a lot of people, you know what I mean? And so I'm with you
yeah,
there. I feel like it's like almost like a whole different person or like a whole different
sure,
mindset, you know what I mean?
for
um
sure, yeah. Just
so yeah.
I don't know, like for me, like for the COVID and all that stuff actually helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Funny enough, because of the internet and being forced to be on there. I'm an independent artist, so I was just on social media, just grinding it out, posting, and finally got a couple songs to go viral there. So I just kind of got lucky there, and
Yeah,
built off that.
for sure. Can I tell a personal story?
Yeah,
um so my hometown is like very far south of Nashville, very, very far, like almost in Florida.
nice,
And I actually first saw you play at a show opening for Josh Turner in Dothan, Alabama.
nice.
Random story.
Yeah,
I just had to
yeah,
bring that up because I was like, oh, okay, this guy's like really good. I think it was
right.
you and Chandler
Thank you.
Brown and
Yep.
like, oh gosh, I'm trying to think who else was playing. Anyway, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was a good little group on stage. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Appreciate that. It's very fun show down there at what's it called Plant, right?
The
No,
plant. Yes,
yeah,
good memory. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. How
very fun.
cool. Well, and then I guess that'll bring me into segue into like your touring plans. You've been on tour since like February-ish.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah,
me
yeah.
about like some of the shows that you've been playing, and then we'll get into the ones that you have coming up. Tell me
Of
about
course,
some of the
yeah,
awesome
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, just like you said, I mean, since February, we've kind of been really busy. I guess been on the road with Chris Jansen, most recently with Tyler Braden, and then we've also been doing a lot of our own shows. So just kind of been really busy, just doing the regular grind or whatever. And then, I think we've got, gosh, like 3 or 4 weeks off right now, and then we're right back at it in April and going back at it for our own shows, and then. You know how it is in the summer fairs, festivals, random stuff here and there. You don't know if you're going
Oh
to play on
yeah.
a day or a Saturday, Sunday, whatever it's going to be. So,
Yeah.
but I'm just blessed to be busy, and I'm very excited about everything coming up.
That's right.
Yeah,
It is a blessing to be busy. I feel like, especially, I don't know, post COVID, sometimes it's like hard to
yeah,
find stuff. But at the same time, like, I don't know, especially with artists like Chris Jansen and Tyler Braden, like
yeah,
thinking of your set list mashed with their set list, like, what a great time that is,
yeah.
honestly.
Oh man, they were like really great, and yeah, I mean, I'm just like I said, I got off tour with like Tyler Braden. I've never even seen him play before that tour. And I was like, damn, this guy's a stud. You know what I mean? Like, he's really, really good. So
Yeah.
I'm just blessed to be around people that are that talented and get to share the stage with them.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you this. Okay. And maybe you've answered this question before. I feel like
Yeah,
it's like now become a hot topic.
yeah,
If you were to do like a musical Mount Rushmore, okay? So like
okay.
four of your top country music artists, who would they be?
Gosh, let's see. Okay, first George Jones. Love George Jones.
Yeah.
Man, it's tough. Four right there.
I know.
Two. Let's
Limited.
go. Yeah, George Jones. Two. I'm gonna go Randy Travis. Love
Yes.
him.
Yes.
Okay, three. Let's go more modern.
Hmm.
Um, gosh, man, I'm trying to think of like my influences too. course, do whatever you say, people are gonna be like, God, you left out, so and so.
I know. No pressure. No pressure.
Yes, maybe Jason Aldean.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
love him, grew up on him. You gotta love that. And I would say
Absolutely.
fourth, let's go really modern. I'm gonna say Luke Combs. Just
Yeah.
killing it, man. I just
Killing it.
love everything he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think those are four really great representations of like what your sound is too. I feel like those are four really great artists to kind of like weave into Hayden Coffman's sound.
There. A lot of pressure.
No, that's so amazing though. Okay, well let me ask you this. Okay. Have you ever been paid a compliment by someone, doesn't matter if they're in the industry or not, that like has really stuck with you? So like a compliment that you have really been like, wow, that is one of the biggest I've had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess let's see. I mean, really just, anybody that's, we've been on tour with, or like, say when we like did this show you saw with Josh Turner.
Yeah.
Just, like guys in their camp, or like not specifically that artist or like, that guy or whatever, but like maybe their tour manager or their, guitar player, just being like, hey, you guys are very tight and, very professional. That's always the best compliment you can get on the road, really, is just like, you guys have your stuff together and you're not like, in the way out here. You're, helping out and being contributive to the process going on.
Yeah.
So that's that. But nobody like certain or like particular, I guess. Nobody in particular.
But that's cool though that like you have so many folks that are like giving you these amazing compliments that you can take in and love. That. Good.
Sure. That's just kind of the best goal on the road is just be like, hey, be respectful, be professional, and just, don't be an idiot. Biggest thing out there is, don't be stupid. Just be a pro.
That's right. Be a pro. Show up and be a pro.
Right.
Well, okay. I like questions. Do you do you have a favorite venue that you've played so far? And then also, do you have a dream venue that you like can't wait to play?
Yeah, gosh, it's a good question. I mean, I guess for a venue I played already, man, favorite venue. We've just played so many random places. I feel like that.
Yeah.
I mean, playing with Josh Turner was really sick.
Oh.
But I don't know. That was my favorite venue. But like, it's crazy to be playing shows with guys like, that where it's like, you grew up listening to a guy like that. Yeah. So I guess you can just do that because it's kind of an easy way out there. And I guess my next one, I guess my dream goal or whatever, I would say Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, that'd be definitely a goal to get there one day and, step in the circle or whatever. That'd be great.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen for you pretty soon. Maybe I'm just, manifesting it for you, but I feel like it's gotta happen. You're on the right track for sure. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's coming. It's coming. So that's good. Well, I'm glad to hear that that's your dream venue, though. Especially like being so close to where you are. I feel like that's part of it too. Is just setting the groundwork. Proximity is key. I feel like also just being. Yeah, very close to it. Well, good.
And just being, available for it, I guess, too.
Yeah. Okay. I do want to ask one more thing before we hop off the call today. Knowing that Love and a Heartbreak comes out April 18th. It's in like 2 short weeks. And this episode will drop a couple days before the release of the album. Is there any other little piece of the album that you want to tell the listeners about before they hear it for the first time?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, if, somebody's on here and I heard one song on the record or whatever, I guess the best one would be like, to, I guess, describe it or whatever would be variety.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variety on there. There's a lot of, country songs, rock country songs, pop country songs, whatever for everybody's, different taste buds there. So I guess that's like kind of the best description of it. There's 11 songs on there. And I really am proud of it. So I hope everybody likes it, that checks it out. So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hayden, thank you so much for coming on the
Of
episode
course.
today. Is there anything else that you'd like to promote or anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to before we end the call?
Yeah. Shout out to you guys for having me on the podcast. I appreciate that. And, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. But I think that's probably it, though. I appreciate you guys having me on here. I really do.
Absolutely. Listeners out there, make sure you go follow Hayden Coffman. His sophomore album release is on April 18th. Loving a Heartbreak. Y'all are going to love hearing the full product. And you heard about it here with Lee and Coda Country. Y'all have a great day. Thank you, Hayden, so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.